Welcome to the Don't Worry About the Government podcast. Oh, it's a special news edition. Breaking news. Mitt Romney, in his brilliant campaign strategy, has announced on a Friday night, through whomever he has announced it through, and to all of the news places, that tomorrow he's making a big announcement that he's picking Paul Ryan. Well done, Mitt. All right, Paul Ryan. What do we think, Chris?
Well, Saturday is always a good day to announce your vice presidential candidate because it allows you to maximize the returns on that momentum, to really get that momentum swinging the other way. I think that this is an emergency move that Mitt Romney had to make. And he had to make it because things have he's gotten off a message. It's not just the Andrea Saul thing. It's not just the Olympics thing. It's not just the tax returns thing. It's all of those and then some. And he had to just get the campaign back on message for him looking like a conservative.
Tiffany Andrzejczyk, welcome to the podcast. Your first appearance. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, go.
Pretty much what Chris said.
No, that doesn't work. Say something.
No,
say
you
something else.
don't. No, that's
Yeah.
not. You don't get to do that on the podcast. You actually have to say your own thing.
I don't know. I'm not sure why he's doing it on a Saturday.
Is it a good call, though? Okay, not the timing.
Yeah.
Is Paul Ryan a good call?
I mean, I guess so, because it really does define his message, and it at least gives him someone who can talk very intelligently on the economy and can probably out-talk Obama on that.
We talked about this on the podcast a bit. So I can't tell when you're saying this if you're trying to be objective or if you actually mean that Paul Ryan talks about the economy intelligently.
He talks about it intelligently. I don't think he's right, but he talks about it intelligently.
How do you do that? How can you talk about something intelligently and be wrong? How does that work for you?
You hit your talking point successfully. And I think, to Tiffany's point, there's a real chance that Paul Ryan might understand Mitt Romney's positions economically better than Mitt Romney does. Because
That's because he'll be making them.
Right, because Mitt Romney's basically already adopted the Paul Ryan plan. So now at least you have the guy whose plan it is going out there defending it, rather than Mitt Romney, who's proven that he can't learn his script, and even if he can, there's a decent chance he might run off of it.
That's actually – okay, so you brought up a point on the podcast about how if you're going to lose, you may as well lose with somebody who you can tolerate. So there's that. And the idea of –
he gets along with Paul Ryan too.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, it's an interesting point that if Romney really doesn't know how to make policy and really sort of sucks at this whole being a presidential candidate thing, if the economy is what it's all about, you bring Ryan on because Ryan talks about the economy. I mean – who thinks about Portman or Pawlenty when they think about the economy? Now that I'm thinking about it, why would you have picked Portman or Pawlenty? Why were they even in the running?
That's the point. Basically, here's the argument behind those two guys. The argument behind those two guys was Romney needs to figure out a way to appeal to moderates. And I don't understand how Rob Portman or Tim Pawlenty appeal to moderates only other than they're not really known as hard conservatives. They don't actually appeal to moderates. So I never got the argument for Rob Portman. I never got the argument for Tim Pawlenty. And I think there's a lot of pluses for Romney. I think he gets along with Paul Ryan. I think that it puts the Republicans, even if they lose this election, and I think they're going to, it puts them in a better place strategically in this loss for 2016 than a sound drubbing with a boring ticket that no one felt anything for and a limp to the finish.
Everybody's favorite journalist.
Does at least...
No, go for it.
I was going to say, at least it also allows Romney to be the moderate that he actually is, because Paul Ryan takes the conservative angle, so Romney can be a moderate because he actually is one. So they kind of divide and conquer in that way. Everybody's
favorite journalist, Piers Morgan, asked Ed Rendell, former PA governor, who he would have picked. Ed Rendell said Condoleezza Rice. Now, let's assume Condoleezza Rice is willing to do it, and I'm not convinced she is. Would she have been a better choice than Paul Ryan?
No. Because I think that, honestly, I think that there's a big benefit in having someone who's actually sculpted the policy that your campaign's running on, going out there and being a major spokesperson for that policy and for your campaign. It makes a lot of sense having Paul Ryan out there defending the Ryan plan because that is what Mitt Romney's plan is, ostensibly. If it was Condoleezza's plan foreign policy-wise, maybe it makes some sense to have Condi out there. But Condi isn't really involved in policy anymore.
What would she have added? I mean,
Well,
she
I mean,
ties you
I
back
don't
to
even
the
understand
Bush.
why she got mentioned.
people like the black
I
part
really
and
got
the
that
woman
either.
part, and the fact that she has more charm to her. They think that
That's true.
Even independents and liberals will say, I mean, our own former co-producer liked Condoleezza Rice in the tail end of the Bush administration and thinks that Condoleezza Rice was the one who prevented Bush from doing more stupid things. So there are people who see her as a sort of moderating force, not in a moderate political way, but in a intelligent policy sort of way. And when you don't have any foreign policy credentials, and when you don't have charm, and when you can't appeal to minorities, I mean, Paul Ryan is not going to get you any more Latino or black voters, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but neither was Rob Portman or Tim Pawlenty.
Well, that was why Marco
how many
Rubio
black
was being
voters is
considered.
Condi really getting you? What?
And the foreign policy
That was
that a
why
lot of
Marco
people seem to
Rubio was
want is
being considered.
isolationist, and she doesn't actually add to that.
Republicans actually seem a bit split. Yeah, but independents seem actually more isolationist than Republicans right now. So if anything, yeah, it would behoove the Romney campaign to be moving more towards that plank, but they can't. That's not a real thing. So I don't.
But
And then you
Condoleezza
also
Rice
have the
would have hurt going that way, is what I'm saying.
right. And I'm with you. And Condi also would have tied you back to the Bush administration. She's a very visible face of the Bush administration.
So Paul Ryan, for both of you, is the best of bad options?
I think so,
or
especially
did he
because
put himself into that because he embraced this strategy? If he had had his own economic plan, would he have not needed Paul Ryan? Could he have
would
had
his
more
own
leeway?
economic plan have been that different, though? And could it really stand in that stark of a dissonance to Paul Ryan's? Paul Ryan is where intellectually the Republican Party is at this point. Could Mitt Romney have really put out a plan that would be noticeably different from Paul Ryan's? It seems like just by the sheer force of Paul Ryan's will at this point, any economic plan is going to strongly resemble the Ryan plan.
I think I get where you're going, though. If Romney wasn't being a vessel, could he have put himself?
If
Romney had been able to carry this policy in and of himself, then he would have been a strong economic figure, and then you don't need the VP to be your economic guy. I just think it shows a weak candidate all around. Anyway, we're out of time, so plugs.
At Chris Novembrino up there. Don'tWorry.tv is our homepage, and Facebook.com/DWATG and Facebook.com/groups/DWATG.
And we also have a
Reddit,
a subreddit. Yep. Tiffany's on Facebook, and you can see her spelling over that way, however we do this. I'm Roni Weiss. You see my name up there as well. Let's keep doing this thing as we dance our way out. Good luck, Romney. I don't know whether I want you to implode faster or just keep going along like this, but whatever. You do whatever you're doing. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Bye.
Ryan!